Hi guys, welcome back to Yoga with Rosie. Today is going to be a bit of a fitness yoga session. So I just have my mat, I have 2 blocks and some water, so make sure you stay hydrated. Yeah, let's get into it. So we're going to start in mountain pose. So standing with your feet hips distance apart, your back is nice and straight, your chest is lifted and your arms are down by your side. We're just going to start off with some slow neck movements. So we're going to start off by looking to the right hand side, through centre, looking to the left hand side. I'm going to do this a few times, moving our head from left to right. You can keep your eyes closed if you want to, or open, whatever you're most comfortable with. Perfect, back to centre. We're also now going to kind of bring your right ear down to your right shoulder. So there's no tension here, you're just relaxing your head and your neck and kind of feeling a stretch down the left hand side, down here. If you want to have a little bit more of a stretch, you can stretch your left arm out in front of you and kind of push your fingers towards the ground, and that will create a little bit more length here in the neck. Another option is to bring your right hand up and over and just gently place your hand on your head. So you're not pulling your neck down, you're not pulling your head down, you're just applying some gentle pressure there. And back to centre. We're going to do the same on the opposite side. So bring your left ear down to your left shoulder. Remembering to breathe. Again, you can stretch your right arm out to feel a bit more of a stretch. Or you can even place your left hand on your head, on your right ear. Not applying much pressure, just gently placing your hand on your head. And back to centre. We're now going to nod our head up and down. So if you look up to the sky, through the middle and down to the floor. We're going to do this several times, so move back up. Back down. You're going to do this in your own rhythm for a couple more moments. Remembering to breathe. And we're now going to move our head in some circular directions. So pretend you're drawing a circle with your nose. So you might want to start by looking up, to the right, down, to the left, up. And just do some circles here with your nose. And then we're going to go in the opposite direction. So to the left, down, to the right, up. And do this a couple of times as well. And back to centre. So now we're going to move our hands and fingers and shoulders. So you can start off by just expanding your fingers, pressing them all the way out and squeezing them all the way back in, out, and in, out, and in, out, and in. You can start to rotate your wrists as well, going one way, and then the opposite way. You can start to warm up our shoulders, so maybe reach your arms up overhead, or maybe circle your shoulders, your arms back in big circles, so up, round and back. Warming up the shoulders here. Back up to the top and then back the other way, so rotating forwards. So back, up, down, and then round, creating big circles here with your shoulders. Okay, back to centre. If you place your right hand out in front of you as like a stop sign, you can pull your fingers back using your left hand. This will just kind of warm up your wrist a little bit. And the opposite way, so bring your fingers down to face the floor and kind of pull your hand towards you. Same on the opposite hand, so stop and then pull the fingers back. And then the palm comes down facing you. You can kind of pull your fingers in that way as well. Perfect. We're going to move into some hip rotations. So maybe just shake it out a little bit. Actually, we've been doing a lot of standing. So we're going to put our weight onto our left foot and start to bring your right foot up, out to the side and down. So up, out to the side and down, up, out to the side and down. If you want to hold onto a chair or a wall while doing this, you can do so. We're just warming up the hips here, making some big circles. Perfect. And move on to the other leg. So stand on your right foot, up, out to the side and down, up, out to the side and down. So just finding some movement here in your hips. It's okay if you wobble. You can go as fast or as slow as you want to as well. Perfect. Standing back onto your left leg, we're going to extend the right foot out in front of us. I like to place my hands on my hips here just for a bit more balance. And you can start to point and flex your right foot and your right toes, just to find some movement there in your leg and your ankle. You can also maybe do some rotations with your ankle in circles in one way, and then in the opposite direction as well. And change. So standing on your right foot, extend your left foot out in front of you. We're going to point and flex the toes. And then you can do some circles in one way. And then circles in the opposite direction as well. Okay, so it should be nicely warmed up. If you want to give yourself a little bit of a body shake, so shake your arms out, shake your legs out. A little bit of a shake before we get going. Okay, so first up, we're going to do some shoulder warm-up exercises. These can be quite tricky, so do as much as you can. You can decide if you want to go how fast or how slow you want to go. So we're going to start off by bringing our hands out into a T-shape arms. Your feet are hips distance apart. And we're going to start to create some small circles, circling our hands backwards. Now again, you can go as fast or as slow as you want. So you can go faster, you can go slower. Whatever you want to do is absolutely perfect. So we're going to do this for a couple more moments. Remember to breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's go back in the other opposite direction. So now we're going forwards. So again, you can go as fast or as slow as you want to today. Just creating small circles, going forwards with our hands. Oh my God, this is starting to burn. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my God, that hurt. Okay, arms back out again. Rotate your hands up and kind of roll your shoulders back almost. Rotate your palms down and you kind of rotate your shoulders inwards as well. So we're going to do 10 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my God, it burns. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh my God, that burns. I hate you're feeling the burn as well. It's not just me. Oh, okay. So I love how I'm trying to do a fitness thing and I'm not fit at all. So we'll see how we get on with this. Next up, we're going to be doing some squats. So we're going to place our feet a little bit further distance than hip distance apart. So a little bit further apart. Hands together, and we're going to go down and do 10 squats together. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, 10. Perfect. Okay, so we're now going to move into tree pose. So starting to bring your weight onto your right foot. Your left foot can come up either to your inner right ankle, your right calf, or your inner right thigh. So wherever you are is absolutely perfect. Your hands can either stay on your hips, Prayer hands in front of you, cactus arms, or your arms can come up over your head. So we're going to stay here for a couple of breaths. Whoops. If you topple over or fall over, that's absolutely fine. Just come back up again, meet us back up in the tree pose. Feel the tension between your left foot and your right thigh, and peel your left knee open, opening your hip. And release back down. We're going to do the same on the left side. So start to bring your weight onto your left foot. Your right foot can either come to the left inner ankle, your left calf, or your left inner thigh. Again, hands can either be on your hips, prayer hands in front of you, cactus arms, or arms overhead. Again, feeling the tension between your right foot and your left inner thigh, and peeling your right hip open. Staying here for a couple of moments. Remembering to breathe, lifting your chest. Arms come back down and back down to relax. So shake out your legs. Okay, doing well, let's keep going. So we're now going to move into 2 sun salutations. So starting at the front of your mat with your feet hips distance apart. Starting in a lovely mountain pose. Feel grounded through the earth. Your chest is open, shoulders back. And when we're ready, inhale, arms come up above your head. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Place your hands on your legs, straighten your back and look forwards. Exhale, plank pose. So place your hands on the mat and step your feet backwards into a plank position. We're going to stay here for 1 breath. And then either move through Chaturanga or place your knees on the mat and do a half press up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Lift your chest, lift your gaze. Tuck the toes and press back into downward facing dog. So we're going to start to pedal out the feet here, find some movement. Do whatever feels best for your body today. Remembering to breathe. Remember, this is your first downward facing dog, so it doesn't have to be perfect. You can find some movement and do what feels good. On the next inhale, we're going to lift the heels, bend the knees, and make our way to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, arms come up over the head and back down by our sides. So I'm going to do that 1 more time. When you're ready, on the inhale, arms come up above your head. Exhale, fold forwards, hinging at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, gaze comes forward. Exhale, hands come back down into plank position. Going to stay here for 1 breath. We're going to tap the right hand onto our left shoulder and our left hand onto our right shoulder. Let's do that 1 more time. Right hand to left shoulder, left hand to right shoulder, and either chaturanga or knees and a half press up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Tuck the toes and exhale, downward facing dog. Again, find some movement here. Maybe bending one knee while you straighten the other. Stretching out your hips, your knees, your legs, your back, pressing through your palms, through your shoulders. Finding some movement and finding what feels good. Remember to breathe as well. Take some deep breaths. On the next inhale, we're going to bend our knees, lift our heels, make our way to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, gaze comes forward. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale all the way up, arms above the head. Exhale, mountain pose. I'm now going to do my variation of sun salutation B. I'm never going to teach chair pose, so don't worry, we're not doing that. Okay, inhale, arms up above the head. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, look forwards. Exhale, plank the pose. I'm going to stay here. We're going to do right hand to left shoulder again, left hand to right shoulder. Let's do that one more time. Either move through Chaturanga or knees half press up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Tuck your toes and exhale, downward facing dog. On the next inhale, raise your right foot up behind you, step it between your hands. Your back foot comes down to a 45-degree angle. Press up into a warrior one position. So your hips are facing forwards, your right knee is over your right ankle, your left leg is straight. Your hands can either be on your hips or above your head. This is your warrior one. We're going to stay here for one more breath. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, on the next exhale, back down. Place your hands back on the mat. Step your right foot back into a plank position. Chaturanga or knees down, half press up. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take one breath. With the next inhale, raise your left foot up behind you. Step your left foot in between your hands. Your right foot comes down 45-degree angle. And you come up into a warrior one position. Again, your hips are straight. Your left knee is above your left ankle, your right leg is straight, your hands are either on your hips or above your head. This is your warrior one. We're going to stay here for one more breath. Inhale, exhale, hands come to the mat, step back into plank pose, chaturanga or knees and then half press up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, and stay here for 5 breaths, stretching out your legs, finding some movement. On the next inhale, bend your knees, lift your heels, make your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, look forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms come up above your head. And exhale, mountain pose. Okay, let's do that one more time. So inhale, arms come above your head. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Gaze comes forward, flat back. Exhale, plank pose. Again, we're going to stay here, tap the right hand onto your left shoulder, your left hand onto your right shoulder. One more time. Take a breath, either chaturanga or knees and a half press up. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath. On the next inhale, raise your right foot up behind you and step it up between your hands. Your left foot goes down 45-degree angle. Come up into a warrior one position with your hips and your chest facing forwards. Stay here for one breath. Exhale, hands back down to the mat. Step your right foot back, into plank pose, chaturanga or knees and half press up. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath. Inhale your left foot up behind you and in between your hands at the front of the mat. Your right foot goes down to a 45-degree angle and up into warrior one position. Chest and hips are facing forwards. Stay here for one more breath. Exhale, hands down to the mat, step back into a plank pose. Chaturanga or knees down, half press up. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Staying here for 5 breaths. You can find some movement here if you want to bend one knee and then the other. Pressing back with your palms, really bending your knees, finding some movement there as well. You don't have to have straight legs here. You can bend your knees if that feels good. On the next inhale, bend your knees, lift your heels and make your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, look forward, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, your arms come up over your head and down into mountain pose. Whew, let's all take a breath. How do you feel? You nice and warmed up? I hope so. Let's keep going. So, one more time. Inhale, arms up above your head. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. And exhale, plank position. Now this time we're going to stay here in our plank position and do some mountain climbs. So in a plank position, you're going to lift your right foot, almost like your right knee is touching your right elbow and back, and then your left knee is touching your left elbow. You can go as fast or as slow as you want here. We're going to do this for maybe 10-15 seconds. Remember to breathe, go at your own rhythm. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press back into a downward facing dog. Oh, and have some deep breaths here. Okay, so let's stay here for a couple of breaths. On the next inhale, raise your right foot out behind you. And step your right foot up in between your hands, and your left knee is going to come down to the mat. And you can relax your toes back down on the floor. I'm going to press up into a low lunge. You can have blocks here to help you if you think this might be useful for you. You can have one either side to hold on to. So what we're going to do here is press up and back so that you straighten your right leg into a half splits. And then bend your knee and press forwards. You can keep your hands on blocks or on your knees, or if you want to raise your arms up above your head, you can do that as well. So wherever you're at is perfect. We're going to press back again into a half splits. Back forwards again. And back one more time. And forwards again. Place your hands back on the mat. Step your right foot back into a plank position. Chaturanga or knees half press up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take one breath here. Inhale your left foot up behind you. And step your left foot in between your hands. Your right knee can go down and your right foot can go down as well. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to start off forwards like this. Again, your hands can either be on blocks, on your hips, on your knee, or just above your head. We're going to press back into a half splits. I like to use blocks here. Remember to peel your toes forwards, upwards. Back forward, so bend your knee. Maybe your hands come above your head. We're going to press back into the half splits. Bend your knee, come forwards again into a low lunge. One more time back into half splits. And back into a low lunge at the front. Hands come to the mat. Lift your back toes, step back into a plank position. Chaturanga or knees half press up. Inhale, upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. So we're going to stay here for a couple of breaths. Start to stretch out your legs, bending one knee and the other. Notice how your body feels different now that you've warmed up a little bit. On the next inhale, bend your knees, raise your heels, make your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, and inhale, arms come up above your head and then down by your sides. Okay, how are we feeling? Let's go again. Inhale, arms up above your head. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. And exhale, hands down into a plank position. We're going to do the hand tapping again, so right hand to left shoulder, left hand to right shoulder. One more time. Chaturanga or knees, half press up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take one breath. Inhale, right foot comes up and in between your hands. This time we're going to come up into a high lunge. So keep on your back toes. Raise up into a high lunge position. Your hands can either be above your head or on your waist. And we're going to gently bend our left knee until it maybe touches the mat. I don't think mine will, so if yours does, that's fine. If it doesn't, that's fine as well. So let's do it. Let's aim for 5 times. We'll see if we can do it. Okay, so bend, 1, up, down, 2, up, down, 3, up, down, 4, up, last one, down 5, up. And then we're going to start to bring our left foot closer to us. I might even bring my right foot back a bit as well. We're going to move into warrior 3 position. So start to balance on your right foot and your left foot comes up behind you. You want to bend your right knee and start to hinge forward at the hips so that your left foot, comes out behind you. You can come into prayer hands in front of you and try and find your balance. I wobbled a little bit and that's fine. If you wobble, you can get back into it. So we're going to stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and step back into a warrior 2 position. So your right knee is over your right ankle. Your back leg is straight and your left foot is parallel to the back of the mat, so it's kind of straight. Your right foot is bent, your hips are open, your chest is open. Your right arm is out in front of you and your left arm is out behind you. We're going to stay here for 1 breath. On the next inhale, straighten your right leg and start to reach forward with your right hand and down towards the mat. I'm just going to grab my block for this one, so you might want to use a block as well. So your right leg is straight, you lean forwards and down. I'm going to place my hand on the block and your left hand comes up above you. This is triangle pose. Opening your chest, opening your hips. Let's stay here for a couple of breaths. Let's bend our knee, come back up into warrior 2. Hands come down to the mat. We're going to step our right foot back into a plank pose. So from a plank pose, we're going to start to bring the weight onto our right hand and your feet can kind of go parallel to the back of the mat. You have a couple of options here. You can either bend your right knee for added support so that you can lean on your right knee and come up this way. The second option is to bend your left knee. So if you're in a plank pose, go onto the outside of your right foot and you can bring your left knee forwards. This is option 2. Option 3 is having both legs straight like this. And option 4 is lifting your left leg. I can't actually do that, so I'm not going to show it. But if you want to do that today, you can do. 3, 2, 1. Back into a plank position. Chaturanga or knees, half press up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. and breathe. On the next inhale, we're going to bring the left foot up behind us and in between our hands, and then we're going to press up into a high lunge. So you're on your back toes, your right leg is straight, your left knee is bent over your left ankle. We're going to keep our hands on our hips. I'm going to bend down 5 times like we did on the other side. So let's go down 5, up, down 4, up, down 3, up, ooh, wobbling, down 2, up, and then down 1, and up. We're going to move into the warrior 3, so start to step either your right leg forward or your left leg back, and start to bring your weight onto your left foot, and your right foot is going to slowly lift behind you. Your hands can be in prayer, hands in front, I find that's the easiest. And start to bend your left knee and start to hinge forward at your hips so that your right leg comes up behind you. If you wobble, that's fine, you can start again. So find something on the floor to look at, start to hinge forward at the hips. Your right leg comes out behind you, your left leg is bent. And this is warrior 3. We're going to stay here for 3, 2, 1. Step back into warrior 2. So your left knee is above your left ankle. Your right foot is parallel to the back of the mat and your right leg is straight. Your hips are open and your chest is open. Your right arm comes out behind you and your left arm comes out in front of you. This is your warrior 2. Stay here for 1 breath. Inhale, straighten your left leg and start to reach forwards with your left arm and then down. Again, I'm going to find a block. So if you want to use a block, you can do that as well. Otherwise, you can do it without a block. And start to rotate your chest open. Your right hand is above your head. Both your legs are straight. I'm going to stay here for 5 breaths. So from here, we're going to bend our left knee, come back up into warrior 2 position. We're going to stay here for 1 breath. On the exhale, bring the hands back down to the mat, step your left foot back into a plank pose. We're going to do plank on the other side this time. So again, you still have the 3 or 4 options that I gave you. So you can either have your left knee bent this time for support like this, or you can have your right knee bent for support like this. You can have both your legs straight, or you can even lift your right leg up. I can't do that, so I'm not going to do that. 3, 2, 1. Back to a plank position. Chaturanga or knees and then half press up. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to stay here for a couple of breaths. Okay, let's place our knees on the mat and let's come down into a child's pose. So you can bring your toes to touch at the back of the mat. Your knees can come out to the sides and you can come down into child's pose. You have a couple of different options. You can place your head on the mat and stretch your fingers forwards, or you can bring your legs together and stretch your fingers behind you. So wherever you are, we're going to stay here for maybe 10 breaths. Okay, so when you feel ready, I'm going to push back up. I'm actually going to have some water. I recommend you have some water as well. Let's stay hydrated while we're exercising. Perfect. So now I'm going to move into some seated poses. I'm going to grab my blocks here for Badakanasana. So if you place your feet together, the soles of your feet together in front of you, and you can either stay like this or you can grab some blocks if that helps you. And with the blocks you always have 3 different options. So you have option 1, option 2 and option 3, depending on the height that you want to use, depending on the pose and the day and everything else. So for this one I always like to use the highest option. And then even in terms of how you sit, you've got some options here as well. So you can either sit like this with your back nice and straight and long and your chest open, and you can breathe here, or you can start to hinge forward at the hips and lean forwards towards your feet. Or the third option is to place your hands behind you, lift your chest and lift your gaze for a heart opener. So today I'm actually going to lean forwards, but do whichever one is perfect for you today. Remember to breathe. We're going to start to slow down our heart rate now, start to slow down our breathing. Start to take some deep breaths. Notice how your body feels in this moment. Perfect. Making our way back up. We're going to move into a different pose. So you might want to do this the lengthways of your yoga mat. So if you extend your left leg out in front of you, you're going to lift your right knee up. So keep your left leg straight, and your right foot is going to cross over your left foot, kind of to the outside of your left knee. You can hook your left elbow onto your right knee and start to twist your body to the side. So on the inhale you can lengthen, and on the exhale you can twist a little bit further. And back through centre. You're going to do the same on opposite leg. So straighten your right leg out in front of you, your left knee bends, and we're going to lift our left knee and cross it over the right knee. Hook your right arm over your left knee and start to rotate backwards. So on the inhale, lengthen, and on the exhale, twist. And back to centre. So I'm going to move into a bit of a shoulder stand. I don't think I'm going to use the blocks for this, I'm going to put them there. So lay back onto your back. So what we're going to do is keep your elbows on the floor and start to bring your knees almost towards your face and then press your feet up to the sky. I can't talk to it at the same time because otherwise the mic's going to be super noisy. So I'm explaining now. If you need to watch me, you can do. But you just want to try and balance on the top of your back, kind of on your shoulders. It's called a shoulder stand. And your legs should be pointing upwards, and your hands can support your lower back. So if you need to look at the video, you can do so. Otherwise, just go ahead and do it. Slowly bring your legs down, slowly bring your back down vertebrae by vertebrae, and bring your feet down to the mat again. We're going to move into happy baby, so bring your knees almost to your armpits, and then you can grab your feet with your hands, bring your elbows out to the sides and your knees down by your armpits for happy baby. You can rock from side to side if you like to do that. I know some people like to lengthen one leg, straighten one leg, sorry, and then straighten the other leg. I can't do that, but if you want to do that, you can go ahead. Rock from side to side, or you can just stay still. This is a really nice stretch. I'm going to stay here for 5 more seconds. Perfect. So we're going to do a gentle supine twist. So if you extend your left leg out and your right knee comes up to your chest, and you can hold onto your right knee with your left hand. Your right arm can come out beside you and start to rotate, start to twist your right knee over to the left side for a nice spinal twist. Remembering to take some breaths. Back through centre. We're going to do the opposite side, so straighten your right leg, bring your left leg into your chest, hold on to your left knee with your right hand. Your left hand can come out beside you, and twist your left leg over to the right hand side for a spinal twist. And back to centre. We're now going to do the final pose, which is Shavasana. So extend your legs out. Your feet might be about max distance apart. Your hands can either be on your side, or I actually like to place my hands on my belly. So in the Shavasana, just concentrate on your breathing. Maybe notice how your body moves when you inhale and exhale. Notice how your body feels after moving today. How do your feet feel? How do your legs feel? How do your hips feel? How does your back feel? How does your tummy and your chest feel? How do your arms and your hands feel? Hopefully you feel good. If you want to stay here for a couple more moments and relax in Shavasana, feel free to do so. You can just pause the video. So for everybody else, we're going to start to find some movement, so you can wiggle your fingers and your toes, your wrists and your ankles. Maybe have a big morning stretch. Stretch your arms above your head, stretch your toes out. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a big hug. Rock gently back and forth until you come to a seated position. And we're going to meet sitting cross-legged. So thank you so much for practicing with me today. I really hope you enjoyed this yoga class. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. That really helps me out, honestly. Make sure you subscribe as well. I'm releasing new yoga classes every single week, so be sure to subscribe so you can join more of my classes. Maybe share this with somebody else who you think might enjoy it, and have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Namaste.